third thing I put down, Billy, was to concentrate your forces. So, I think a lot of times in the dealership, if we're honest, so when I did work at Cardone, we would do, when I came to your store, we would do process assessments, or we'd do interviews, right? We would talk to every employee, and we'd be like, what do you like most about how the dealership works? What do you like least? Who do you think the best salesman is? And every time when we got to a GSM, he would tell me who the best salespeople were. He would say, hey, John, Michael, and Rick, they're the best. Then these three guys are okay. Sometimes this guy can have a good month, and then these three guys suck, right? So we would have that conversation. But the problem is when you're having a bad month, you're letting the guy who sucks go take ups and burn through ups, right? So one thing I like to do, and one report that I always build for dealers is, and if Tim McCarn's still watching, I know I did this with him, is a up report. So most of your CRMs, the ups are logged. Who was, how many people someone took a fresh showroom up on. So, and I only do this with showroom ups, and then you could apply it to internet and phone later on in this exercise. If you take that report, Billy, and you take all the phone up, or all the showroom ups, and you say, okay, we had 200 showroom ups and had 10 salespeople, and this is how many each person took, and this was their closing percentage, right? So if Caleb took 50 of the ups and sold 20 cars, and I'm like, man, Caleb's great. Well, we should close at least 60% of our showroom ups. People only go to one dealership now, right? Well, Caleb burnt through, 15 opportunities. So even though Caleb sold 20 cars, he also cost me, 15 deals that he should have sold half of and should have sold another 7, 8 cars. So I got to look at my report, and I got to see who's taking ups and who's burning ups, okay? So if I've got a half a month left and I've got half my team who are just burning ups, man, I won't let them take one, because at the end of the day, it's my business. You know what I mean? It's my store, and I'm responsible. I'm the general manager. I'm getting fired if we don't hit the numbers, right? So I got to take fairness out of it. I got to take and put my best forces on the front line for showroom ups. What you may find when you look at internet and phone leads, that the same guy who's not good on the showroom ups is really good on the phone, but he's not getting enough opportunities. So I may need to pull that guy off the ups and put him on the phones. I may need to take other people, put them on the internet. But I got to look at it as a war, and I got to be strategic as a leader, and I got to use numbers and math that don't lie, and I got to look at that math, and I got to say, okay, I can't just have 12 guys taking ups when things are tough. I've got to put my best guys on the ups. I got to put my other best guys on the phones. I got to put these best guys on internet leads. That's how you can save your month, guys, if you're struggling. And then even more so, if you feel like you're going into a tougher environment, and you're like, hey, I'm not sure how things are going to go right now. You better have your best guys, running the race for you and taking those ups. And it's no different than a relay race. Who runs the last leg of a relay race, Billy?
Fastest person.
The fastest runner. They're the best runner. Well, it's a race each month to finish the month and hit your numbers. Why would I put the slowest guy out there to take my ups? So concentrate your forces, guys. Concentrate your forces on what they're best at. And it's really not unfair to them. It's better for them because they're going to succeed where they're better at, right? So if I'm really good at internet leads, but Billy's making me only take showroom ups, that's why my showroom ups are not closing, because I feel like I'd do better at the internet. So if I feel like I'd be better there, then let me be there and let me excel there. At the end of the day, it's going to wash out to the same numbers. So that is that's another thing you can do right now going into November, finishing out October, is you can concentrate your forces and put your best people at what they excel in best.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not about being fair. It's about production. You have a job to do, and that's what training's for. If someone's not producing, they need to be training, not practicing on the live ups. So I'm with you 100% on that.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. Don't practice on the live ups. And then if they struggle, well, Caleb's really good at getting write-ups, but Caleb's not really good at closing, then Caleb shouldn't close. Let Caleb get the deal inside, let him write it up. And then as a manager, you take over the pencil. You don't even send Caleb in on one. Just go in and close the deal. I tell dealers every week, Billy, if let's say I'm sending Paul Sutton to a store. I say, listen, if you will let Paul close every deal, you will make more than enough money to pay for this sale, even if a customer never showed up. Even if we didn't have a single appointment show up, which is not going to happen, but if we did, and you let Paul close every deal that you pencil, you will make more than enough money to pay for the deal, because I know that guy is a super closer, and I know he's going to get all the money out of the deal, and he's going to close the deal. But don't give a salesman who's weak 3 opportunities and then have a manager walk in. Like, know your forces, know your team. If you know someone's weak at closing, don't let them go close. And if they're like, well, man, I'm really good, I've been practicing, then show me. You know what I mean? Do some role playing and prove it. If they're not ready, don't send them in, because you can't afford for that customer to leave. And worse than them leaving is giving the car away because the salesman wasn't trained and wasn't prepared to do it.
Yep. So, and this fits right into that. And one reason that most managers struggle at their store, struggle with sales, struggle with their numbers, most of it's from being lazy, Caleb. They want to sit behind the desk and not get off their butt and try to train the salesperson from across the desk. I never once went into a store where I didn't increase sales dramatically, as a sales manager. And the reason I did that is even if I didn't know the salespeople, and a lot of times I didn't, I would get to know them. When everybody gets written up, right? Everybody gets written up every single time. When they got the customer written up, got the deal written up, I went in and sat down with the customer and I closed the deal. I found, I didn't send the salesperson in there. And you learn most salespeople really like that. And then you'll find out real quickly if the salesperson, if he didn't like it, he think he's got some confidence. He wants to do that, and that's fine. Then you can start allowing them to do that once you learn your salespeople's skills. But I wasn't going to risk it. Like I say, my job was because I made a big offer to the dealer. I said, look, I'm going to increase your sales. I'm going to do it month 1. We're going up, So I had to back my claim up. I wasn't going to allow someone else to do that. So sales managers, one thing you can do, get off your butt and go in there and close that deal. You just keep doing that. And that's how the salesman can learn to be a closer, by watching and listening to you, not by you telling them what to say and them running back and forth. But anyway, that's
and another part of that is there's a good chance as a sales manager, you may just be there from default. You may have just been the salesman of the month. You got promoted. You became the sales manager. You really may not know how to close, and that's okay. If they say, well, I have to talk to my wife, and you don't know to immediately say, well, what are you going to do if your wife says no? If you don't know exactly what to say every time, then you probably shouldn't be in there, right? Like, you're not the guy to go close the deal. You may have a great salesman who's really good. I would do this a lot. If I was super busy and we had 10 deals working, I'm the only guy on the desk, and I had a weak salesman, I would pull a seasoned salesman up, and I would say, hey, Jeff, I want you to go in. I want you to close this deal for me and teach Billy, what to say, how to say it. But I want you to go in and close this deal. Now, that gave that salesman incredible confidence, because number one, it wasn't his customer. He had nothing invested. And if he went in there and closed it, I would pay him. I would say, okay, look, you go close that deal. I'll give you $100 on the deal too. I'm not taking no commission away from this guy. Just go in there and get it done. And man, all of a sudden, these guys started believing that they were super closers because they were getting to go in and close these deals with no strings attached. And that's why closers and gypsy sales and that kind of stuff works, because there's no attachment. There's just no attachment to the deal. It's just, they're just going in there to close the deal. And there's no loss for them. See, when a salesman has a deal and he's trying to close it, that's his deal for the day. That's his deal. It's like, it's like Tommy Boy in the movie where he's talking about he loves his deal and he pets it and he pokes it and all that. Well, that's how a salesman is. He loves that deal and he needs to close it. But another guy who doesn't care about the deal, it's just, hey man, I need you to go close this deal. That guy has no emotion involved. He's not going to get fired if the deal don't get done. It's not going to affect his car payment or his bills if he don't close it. And so when you take all the emotion out of it, you can logically negotiate and get that deal closed. So sometimes it's good to bring somebody else in and just teach that guy who maybe don't know how to do it that well, how to do it. If you're a manager and you don't know how to overcome those basic objections, then you need to be ready for them. You need to train, because if you sent Billy in and they go, well, I need to talk to my wife about it. And Billy's like, well, okay, let's, what do you think she's going to say? He don't really know what to say. then he's unprepared to close that deal. But if you got a trained closer going in who knows to say, what are you going to do if your wife says no? Okay, what would she say no to? And you know how to identify the real problem, because how many times does a customer leave and call back and go, hey, I talked to my wife and she said if my payment was $495 a month that we could buy the car. And his wife didn't say that. The guy just didn't know how to negotiate, so he waited till he left to call you back. So you got to know how to dig it out of them. That goes back to closing, but you want to make sure that goes back to concentrating your forces. I'm going to put the best closers in the best situation to win right now. It may not be my process, Billy. It may not be how we fight the war every month, but I'm going to do it right now because I need to save my month.